Hey guys, it's Matt, back here for another round of Matt being an asshole about other traders. No, that's not the title at all. It's just taking a skeptical look at some YouTube traders. This one is DCrypt, I think is his name. It was a request from the comment section of the last video I put up about Scarface. So I figured I'd take a look at one of the videos. It's pretty short. It's only like 5 minutes long. So all right, let's take a look at Mr. DCrypt here, and we'll see what happens.
What's good, guys? It's DCrypt. I'm up 50.
I like this is totally just a YouTube thing, but I like how he started not looking at the camera and then like turned to it, like he was like sort of surprised, like you just walked in the room and you're like, "Hey, what's up?" Pretty
What's
cool.
good, guys? It's DCrypt. I'm up $15,000 in 2 weeks. I don't know if you guys can see, but I started on the 14th of June.
No, I couldn't see. That's kind of a weird. So one thing I've noticed about YouTube traders is that they really are just so strange about when they show profit and loss and bank statements and things like that. They're just so weird about it. And this one, I don't know if he's just, you call this laziness, but like really you're just gonna show your phone like this, your thumb's covering half the fucking screen. Like, what does that even do?
I don't know if you guys can see, but I started on the 14th of June.
It's blurry.
And it is now, what day is it?
It's blurry at the same time. I love that. I promise we'll move on quickly.
And it is now, what day is it? July 6th. And I'm up $15,000, right? So you want to find something that.
Okay, really quick. Being up $15,000 again without any like risk reward talk doesn't really mean anything. That's a YouTube tactic, right? You put that figure in the title, 15,000 every 2 weeks. Now, here's the thing: he's saying he made 15,000 in this specific 2 weeks of the period that he's talking about. That doesn't mean it's every 2 weeks, right? If it was every 2 weeks, the proof for that would be show us your broker login statements or whatever, however you want to do it, or just show us your trade journal of the past, I don't know, 6 months or a year, and then we should be able to see that on average you make 15,000 every 2 weeks. But to say that you did it for this 2 week period is not proof that you can do it every 2 weeks. But he might get into that stuff later. So this is, again, I watched these. I haven't watched this video before. This is my first time, so I'm just thinking out loud here of like, okay, if I'm trying to learn from this guy, this is the kind of stuff that I want to see.
It creates a move. So here you can see on the 5 minute, it doesn't matter where you're at, where the highs and lows are at. It does not matter. We are at the very top of the market, right? If the market is moving, you want to follow.
Okay, I like that. Kind of like the trend is your friend sort of thing. He said if the market is moving, you want to follow. I agree. There's a lot of people out there, and there have been for many years that are, when the market gets extended to the top, they're just ready to go bearish, right? And they're trying to short every pop on the top. And it's like, man, markets can be resilient. They can go a lot further than you think. People look at RSI divergence or something like that, and they're like, "Yeah, it's divergent," and then and then the market just plows right through your stupid little divergence and keeps right on trucking. Sometimes for weeks and months and years, right? So yeah, just identifying the overall trend and trading with it, I think, can be really helpful for most traders. You can make money counter trend trading for sure. There are people out there that do that, but it just seems easier to go with the flow.
The first thing I'll look for is I'll pull out a fib retracement to kind of see exactly where price might retrace to, like closest area. And then once it does start retracing, I'll mark that high. So that would be my first target.
That's interesting. So, this is a really pared down fib retracement, right? Because he really only has the 50% retracement there, it looks like, which is fine. The Fibonacci thing is one of those deals that it's like you see what you want to see. So to have all the other levels in there is probably just noise anyway. But I'm interested to see how he's using this.
right? And my first and only target because we're at all-time highs. But around this area, I do see a fair value gap here and I see a fair value gap there. Which one would be better? Well, I don't think that price would fall below the 0.5, and if it did, would probably be stuck in a range. I'd stay away, right? So I'd more than likely try this one because it's sitting right above the 0.5. And then price also isn't always promised to come down to the 0.5. Price does what it wants to do. So now we know around what area we want to start looking to get in our trade. And then we also know that, price and volume are working together to give us this move. So what I do now
Okay, so I think he's saying that this box here is where he wants to get in if the price gets back to that level.
is I'll set my risk to reward. Obviously, if we don't respect this fair value gap and the volume, and we're going to sit in a range all day, I'm going to set my stop loss halfway through the zone, right? And any candlestick close below, that would be me getting out of my trade, right?
Hey, so for those of you that were here for the last video that I did with Scarface, and I called him out for not stopping out on a wick, and everybody jumped down my throat that his strategy is a candle close below that low. That's what this guy's talking about too, which is funny. Which, look, if that's your thing, that's fine. To me, that's, I guess maybe I just don't have brass enough balls to do that. Because that candle can close way lower than what your stop level is here, right? Like if let's pretend it was this candle, and it came down, it could close way down here below, and your stop's supposed to be here. So just from a risk management perspective, I don't love that, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work, because then obviously also you would get, you don't get stopped out on wicks, which is nice because there's almost no worse feeling than something coming down, taking out your stop, and then reversing literally the same candle and then just running away without you. So, I mean, there's probably advantages to it. I don't know, for me, I just like to make sure I keep my losses small. And the thing is, if you get wick stopped out, you can always re-enter. If it runs back up past your original entry point, you can always re-enter, right? So, anyway, to each their own.
Right? It's as simple as that. Super, super simple. It doesn't get harder than that. That's all I use, right? Same thing with Google.
Sorry. So, where's there? This is, I will say though, like if this is his risk level, obviously with the close thing, it could be a little lower, right? The close below the stop level, but he's got a credible risk reward here because he's targeting way up here. He's probably going to take partials along the way, I would think or hope. But yeah, pretty good risk reward there. I don't know what that is, but it looks like, man, it's got to be at least 5R, right? So
simple as that. Super, super simple. It doesn't get harder than that. That's all I use, right? Same thing with Google, right? Pull out your fib retracement. On Google, it was a little bit easier. We broke out of this high and started pushing higher. So I was on the 5-minute. Once I see the market make its move, then I can start looking to get in, right? So same thing, I pull out my fib retracement. I pull out the box, try to find the fair value gap, which is here in between. If you guys don't know what a fair value gap is, I highly recommend watching the bull run course on YouTube that I have on a playlist on my channel, right? So you mark the high. Once you see it start retracing, you mark that high there. And that's going to be your risk to reward. Boom. Market's already made its move. You know where it's headed. Now you just have to be patient and be ready to get in, right? There we go. Now you can move into smaller time frames and start trying to get in a little more accurately. I start adding as we start dropping. On this third candle is when I started adding. I don't think I bottom ticked it. I wasn't looking to bottom tick it, but if we did move towards the fair value gap a little closer, then I would add more to my position, right? And then I always scale out at my first take profit. I'll take a majority of my profits and I'll let my runners continue on.
Okay, so he was getting in higher than where I originally expected. So I'm going to back this up a little bit because he moved the screen here. He's getting in on this candle which I thought he was waiting for a retracement down to this level here and to get in here, but it seems like he's getting in here. But he did talk about taking partials, which I think is good. That's just there's a trader named Matt Petralia who I think is running a great service. Actually, this isn't a commercial for that, but one of his phrases is always treat trading like a business, and one of his things is like when you've got some profit, you start taking it, because if you hold your whole position looking for the home run and then it reverses and stops you out at either one, your original stop, which would be for a loss, or even to break even, and you got nothing out of the trade, and you could have taken a little profit here and there. So those small winners can add up. But anyway, I like this so far.
Profits, and I let my runners continue on. I think today, or not today, yesterday was Friday. I had a little bit of I went and played golf, so I didn't hold my runners. I just sold my full position. But that's pretty much it. It really doesn't get too much harder than that, you know. And this is a bull run.
So one thing I'm confused about is like he's not really defining where his entry is going to be. Um, like the lines he drew, like I said before, I was expecting that entry to be. Let's see here. I was expecting the entry to be down here, right? And he said he was getting in on this candle. So like, at what point do you start to get in, right? He didn't define like, okay, from the top, I want a certain percentage retracement before and that's when I start scaling in, because maybe he takes a little here and then he'll take a little more down here and a little bit more down here, and that's fine. You can kind of ease into positions like that, but he just didn't define that, so I don't know what it is.
It really doesn't get too much harder than that, you know. And this is a bull run strat, you know. I more than likely, whenever we start retracing and whenever we start having downside moves, I know it doesn't last as long as the bull run does. So I'll more than likely wait and be patient. I might scalp a few trades to the downside using the same strategy, you know, just to the downside, right? So instead of it going, you know, if we're using our for retracement to the upside, you would just use it to the downside. Make sense? So super, super simple. Shouldn't be overcomplicated. It's basically
I need to hear that again.
just to the downside, right? So instead of it going, you know, if we're using our for retracement to the upside, you would just use it to the downside. Make sense? So
Yeah, I missed what he said there though about
shouldn't be
when does that happen?
It's basically,
How do you know?
and this is a bull run strat. You know, I more than likely, whenever we start retracing and whenever we start having downside moves, I know it doesn't last as long as the bull run does. So I'll more than likely wait and be patient. I might scalp a few trades to the downside using the same strategy. You know,
I would love some more detail on how what that means to him. Is he talking about a longer term bearish environment, or is he just talking about a pullback after a long run? You know, like what's the time frame there where you start to flip and go short? You know, is he talking like, oh, it went up for 5 days and now it's going to pull back for 2 days, so I'm going to flip and go short for 2 days? Or is he talking about like, hey, it's been going up for, you know, the past 6 months and now we're probably going to have a little retracement? And then how do you define when that actually starts to happen? You know, I'd love some criteria about that, because that's a hard thing to do, is to flip from long to short and back again, just because it's really hard to know. Okay, is this a small pullback? Is this a larger, longer term pullback? Is this not a pullback at all? Is this a half a day fake out where, you know, you get that V reversal on the SPY and the Qs? So it's just hard to pinpoint that, guys.
just to the downside, right? So instead of it going, you know, if we're using our for retracement to the upside, you would just use it to the downside. Make sense? So super, super simple. Shouldn't be overcomplicated. It's basically all I do to trade on a daily basis. You know, doesn't get any. That's all you need, right? If I can make $15,000 using this strategy, and that's all I use, that's all.
Okay, so there's the 15 grand again. I love that. So no talk of really of R multiples here. Doesn't mean he doesn't talk about it in other videos, guys. Again, this is the only video I've seen, and I'm seeing it for the first time. So, don't jump down my throat if I'm talking some shit about that. That he covers in other videos. So one thing I noticed was that if he's getting in higher than that line he drew, and he's like averaging into the position, right? So he's taking his first entry on a little retracement, and then if it retraces lower, he's getting in again and adding to his position, and then he's getting in again. If it does turn around like these two trades he showed, if it turns around pretty quickly, then you're not full size on that trade, but you're going to be full size every time you take a loss, right? So that's a little bit of a disadvantage risk reward wise, is that your wins are going to be smaller size than your losses. That's one disadvantage of kind of laddering into a position like that.
All you need. And if it doesn't present itself, then you just don't trade. I only took 5 trades last week. One on Monday, one on Wednesday. No, not Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, the day before 4th of July. And then Friday, I took 3 trades. They were all bangers. I had a user error that caused me to have a loss because it was actually on this Google trade, which is hilarious. Because this is the one I was saying that I was in, but it was Microsoft. Google, I got in my trade, and then once it started hitting my take profit, I went to go look at my position. Turns out I had grabbed puts instead of calls, and so I ended up taking a loss. I lost my profits, and then.
Yep. So if you're trading options and you mean to be long with calls, being short with puts is not a good thing. But look, everybody fat fingers slip shit every once in a while. I've done that. I've entered the wrong ticker. I've entered the wrong share size. I've probably, when I play options, this is back in the day. I don't really use options anymore, but I probably bought calls when I meant to buy puts, or vice versa. So that sucks. It happens to everybody though.
We ended up trading. It was Microsoft 0DTEs that made me some of my money back. So I pretty much broke even, but that's just how the dice rolls. And we'll be back next week. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little session. This is what makes me $15,000 every 2 weeks or more. There's, some months I make 30, 40,000. It just depends, the market moves how it wants to. So if it's not there, or there's less trades than there were last month, it just is how it is. Happy with what you get, right?
Hey, that was actually I might actually just let him say that again. That's an important thing to hear.
There, or there's less trades than there were last month. It just is how it is. Happy with what you get, right? But that's pretty much it. It's been DCrypt.
Okay, so while Mr. DCrypt stares at us here, yeah. Look, when you have a strategy, it's not going to work the same in all market environments, or even just from day to day. There's going to be days where it works really well and it gives you a couple of setups, and then there's going to be days where it doesn't work so well and doesn't give you anything, right? Or it gives you nothing but losses for a little while. There's going to be drawdowns with any strategy where you're going to take multiple losses in a row that are outside even your expected win ratio, right? Maybe your expected win ratio is 60%, and then you lose literally 10 trades in a row. And it's like, well, I should be winning 6 out of every 10, and I just lost 10 in a row. What the hell? That's going to happen, guys. And what he said there about like, hey, man, when it gets slower, just be happy with what you get. That's actually really important. Yeah, so I don't, just overall with this video, take-home points, I don't know that we saw enough of a strategy to really say like, hey, this is all you have to do, keep it simple. But he has a Discord, and so he's selling memberships, right? So he's not going to give you everything, because that's what he's trying to sell, is you get to go watch him trade live or whatever, and then you learn more about the strategies. And maybe with that Discord he has like other videos that show more in detail, or on his YouTube channel he might have some of those other videos too. I did notice, I'm going to just look at his
oh wait, that's what you bought?
shit, that's loud. I did notice his channel, so he does have, if you look at the videos, if you scroll back, he does have a lot of like he has beginner course stuff, videos from like 6 months ago, which there's probably a lot of good stuff in there. You know, if you haven't learned about support and resistance and time frames and that kind of stuff, who knows how valid it really is. I mean, you can, I don't know, you can make a lot of educational videos and not really know what the hell you're talking about. But I'm not saying that's the case here. But then I did notice though that lately he's just been posting a lot of like lifestyle stuff, which the whole flexing thing, like you know, his pinned video is he bought a Corvette, and then he's like giving money out and stuff. I was watching one of these videos when I looked at his channel, but I must have watched this one too. Oh, I tried to watch this one, and he never actually talked about the trade in this video, so that's why I skipped it. But I was just kind of trying to get a feel for his channel. But anyway, yeah, to the person who asked me to do one on DCrypt, yeah, you know, he's got some good ideas in there. He says some good things. Whether he has sufficient evidence here that he is a trader and not a YouTuber with a membership site, I don't know. That is one thing I'm leery of in general when you've got a person who makes good YouTube videos with some of the really grabby headlines. And look, that's a YouTube game. I'm not gonna shit on that, but just do your due diligence, guys, and really figure out, all right, is this person really a trader? Or are they a YouTube salesman that has a Discord that they're selling, you know, $100 a month memberships for, and they've got, I don't know, you know, 200 members? Do the math, guys. You're doing pretty well with that, right? Making 20 grand a month. You know, in a half a year, you've made more than most working people's yearly salary, right? So, yeah, that's, if they're that, then they might not really be making much money trading or any money. They might be breaking even. Now, a couple arguments here that get levied are, well, you know, they trade live in front of people every day. Yeah, they do, and unless those people are able to really see entries and exits and then logging all those entry and exits and seeing if the trader is actually legitimately making money or not, you know, then you don't really know. So just trading in front of people live every day is not proof, because most people are just going to do their own trading while he's trading live, and they're not really paying that much attention to what's going on. Okay, guys, another argument that gets made in favor of some of the YouTube traders is that they have, say, live logins with broker statements, or I've seen some that they show you that they're making withdrawals from their account. Let's cover those in reverse order. First, with withdrawals, you can just put that money in the account and then show yourself withdrawing it. So, you know, if you take some of your membership money and you make, I don't know, let's say you make that $20,000 a month, you save that up for a few months, and let's say now you've got $60,000, and you take that. I know there's like taxes and there's overhead and shit, guys, but I'm just simplifying. Take that $60,000, you put it in your brokerage account, you wait for it to hit, and then you withdraw it right away, and you just show the withdrawal, like, oh, look at this, guys, I withdrew $60,000 this week. That's not proof of trading, right? That's just proof that you took $60,000, put it in an account, and then took it out again. And then another thing with the live broker logins, a lot of times what I'll see there is like it's for a 2-week period, right? Well, yeah, sure. Like I've mentioned in other videos, every D-bag can have a solid 2 weeks every once in a while, right? With any strategy, it's like, don't show me the last 2 weeks that you happened to have a bunch of winners and very few losses rather. show me the last 6 months, the last year, the last 3 years, if you've been with the same broker, and just show it, because it should be awesome. If you're as baller as you say you are, why not make that flex and just show, like, yeah, look, I made $3 million over the last 2 years or something, right? Okay, great. It should be right in there. No reason to truncate that to the last week or two or even a month or whatever. So anyway, those are just some of the things that popped up in comments when people were defending the last video that I made, defending the trader that I critiqued a little bit there. And look, I would love it if these guys were as legitimate as they say they are, and if scalping was this easy. I'm guessing the people in the U.S. Trading Championship would all be scalpers, but they're pretty much all swing traders. So anyway, that's enough for now, guys. I don't want to ramble on too much about this. If you've got some recommendations for people you think are really good on YouTube as far as trading, education, and you feel they're pretty legitimate, they're not doing too much of the YouTube salesy stuff and driving memberships too hard, yeah, man, hook me up in the comments, let me know, because I would really love to do some reviews of some real legit traders who are kicking ass and doing it the right way. And also I'll be making some more just educational based videos of how I trade, not how to trade, but how I trade, because it might not be right for you. Thanks for being here, guys, and do all the YouTube, like, subscribe, blah blah blah, whatever. I appreciate it. Really quick, guys, the last video I made was by far the most popular video I've had. So thank you to all of you who clicked on it, who watched it, who chimed in with the comments, both pushback and kudos to me. I appreciate all of that. Thanks to the new subscribers and just everything, guys. I love feeling that the videos I'm making are kind of hitting home with some of you. So I appreciate the support. Thanks, guys.